So a very good morning to my cherished student. We want to take a look at Unit 5, Section 1. We are looking at the general topic free will, moral responsibility, and conscience. Now, in this session, we are looking at what free will is. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, our lesson's objectives. So we are saying that by the end of this section, students should be able to define the term free will, distinguish between compatibilism and incompatibilism, writing not more than 5 lines. Explain 4 factors that impede one's freedom. So what is free will? Minimally, to say that an agent has free will is to say that that agent has a capacity to choose his or her course of action. Various philosophers have offered just such an account of freedom. Thomas Hobbes, for instance, suggested that freedom or free will consists in there being no external impediment to an agent doing what he or she wants to do. In other words, for him, a free agent is that person who can do as he or she wishes or wills and forbear as she wills or he wills. And that liberty is the absence of external impediment. In other words, when we talk about free will, we are talking about this whole concept or the question of one being able to act without any external influences. Now, by external influences, we are looking at the question of either law or other moral agents impeding the free expression of other moral agents' will. Now, let us look at this long debate, the question of free will and determinism. It's about whether moral agents or human beings have free will which is not restricted or determined. Now, when you say determinism, from the word determine, it's a philosophical view that holds that all events, including human action, are ultimately determined by causes regarded as external to the will. Some philosophers have taken determinism to imply that individual human beings have no free will and cannot be held morally responsible for their action. In other words, before we were made as human beings, we have been determined in destiny and in fate by the Creator. So whatever thing we do, we are not doing it based on our free will, but then it has been predetermined that whatever we are going through has been created by God. Now, there are groups of philosophers who argue that free will is one which the agent had freedom to act according to their own motivation. This group of people are called compatibilists. Their philosophical school of thought is called compatibilism. That is, the agent was not coerced or restrained. This group of people are called compatibilists, and the philosophical disposition, as I've already mentioned, is compatibilism. We have scholars such as Thomas Aquinas, Thomas Hobbes, Luis de Molina, and Francisco Suarez, Gary Watson, among others. So now we are saying that this view conceives free will as incompatible with the moral agent's actions. So we call that determinism, and it's incompatibilism. So these are the two schools of thought. One says that free will is compatible with determinism, and the other group says that free will is not compatible with determinism. So these are the arguments that are coming back and forth. Now let's look at some of the factors that impede or undermine people's freedom or free will or the moral agent's freedom. Coercion. In other words, when you are forced, you cannot exercise your free will. One's age. Usually, when you are to enter into a particular setting, they ask you, my brother, what is your age? My sister, what is your age? Oh, I'm 15 years. They say, no, please. This age will not allow you to enter this place because people who come here are people who are more than 20 years. So the freedom has been curtailed. Educational level, usually even in the university. There are places where common students cannot enter. For example, we have the senior clubhouse. Students cannot enter there because the educational level does not match with the senior members in the university. Once gender can impede your free will. So, for example, you are going to a place and they ask you, who sent you here? Do you not know that this place is for only females? For example, you want to go and wee-wee. You're feeling pissy, so you want to go and wee-wee. You go to the place for males and you are a female, you cannot enter there. And religion. One's religion can impede one's free will. You are Muslim, you are a Christian, you are a Buddhist, you are a Shintoist. You are not allowed to do ABCD. That is impeding your free will. For example, when you are fasting in the month of Ramadan and you want to enjoy sexual intercourse, the religion says that during this period, do not have sexual intercourse. During this period, do not do that, do not do this, do not do that. These are impeding your free will. What have we done? We are saying that free will or freedom of the will consists in there being no external impediment to an agent doing what he or she wants to do. Compatibilists often define free will as an instance where by the moral agent had freedom to act according to their own motivation. That is, the agent was not coerced or restrained. This group of people are called compatibilists, and their philosophical position is called compatibilism. There are factors that impede the free will of the moral agent, and they are not limited to age, gender, law, fear, and religion. So when you go back to your module and you read on freedom, responsibility, and conscience, you understand most of the things I've mentioned here, because some of the things I've mentioned here, I've left most of them out in the book so that you read and you complement the videos with it. Thank you very much. So thank you for having paid attention to this lesson. We move to the next session.